Happy Cyber Monday, you guys. I think everybody's probably out shopping, but I thought I'd make this totally off-topic video. Well, I guess maybe on topic, because I'm going to tell you what you should buy. Welcome to my Cyber Monday video. I'm going to talk about product categories, I think, for people in their 40s that they should spend a little extra on, and product categories that you can totally save your money and buy something drugstore or less expensive. Which categories I've found I need to spend a little extra on to get something that works with my aging skin. And before we get started, I'll tell you about my dramatic look I've got going here today. I've got a new nose ring, a new septum ring, as you can probably tell. And I know not everybody loves my septum piercing. It's okay, you don't have to love it. It's black. I've never had a black one before, and I'm still getting used to it. And it's got the little spikes. Again, I've never had that. This is probably a little bit more extreme than I've ever had. So I'm still deciding if I like it or not. And then totally fake. They're just regular earrings that I got at Hot Topic yesterday. I took my 12-year-old, she's been asking for months to go to Hot Topic, so I finally took her and I got that. Lipstick is Max Whirl. I got that yesterday. It's there's a lot of hype about it, and I can see why. I like it. It's a good color. I look a little bit washed out on camera, I think. It's a little not quite as dark in real life, but I really like it. And then I've also got the let me show you what I have on my eyes. I got one of the MAC palettes. I picked this up yesterday. It's 25% off at Macy's and Nordstrom and everywhere else that sells it. This is the cool one. I used let me open it up. I used these three colors here to create the look I've got going today. Kind of a purplish, smoky eye thing. Definitely on the dramatic side of things. Yeah, oh, and also, see, I've got all my eyeshadow palettes out. I was kind of going through doing my end of the year, going through stuff that I have been using and that I haven't, and deciding what to pass on to my younger daughter, who is a budding makeup artist, and what to keep in my collection. So that's why I've got all that going on over there. Okay, on to the video. I have some notes here. Let me find them. Got them in my little notebook. Here we go. Products to save on, and products to spend a little bit more on. And mostly you can save your money, I think. I'm going to start with base layers and then go in the order that I put them on my face. Let's start with skincare. You can save on skincare. There are some amazing product lines available at the drugstore for very reasonable prices. Olay has some amazing products. CeraVe has some amazing products. Neutrogena has some amazing products. And then there's Paula's Choice, which is comparably priced, I think, to drugstore stuff. All really, really solid brands with excellent products that address a range of skin concerns. You definitely don't need to spend $1 million on skincare. There's drugstore options that are just as good as the enormously expensive stuff that you get at department stores. My skincare is almost exclusively Olay and CeraVe at this point, especially my moisturizers. I've talked about skincare in other videos, but the cleanser I use is Olay, the foaming face wash, which is like $5, and it is better than anything I have tried, even stuff that's 4 times the price. So the foaming face wash, the cleanser. The night moisturizer I'm using right now is the CeraVe Skin Renewing Night Cream, which I love. It's a rich, very moisturizing cream, but it also absorbs right away and isn't greasy at all. And then the daytime moisturizer that I use is the same one that I've been using for years, and I've talked about it so many times on my channel. It is the Olay Regenerist regenerating lotion with sunscreen. It's SPF 50. It comes in this little bottle. It is so good for oily skin, and one of the reasons I like this most is that I always mix my foundation with moisturizer, and not all moisturizers play well with foundations, but I have never found a foundation that didn't work well with this moisturizer. So this is the one I use to mix my foundation with, and it works with every foundation that I've tried, and it just is such a nice moisturizer. It's not greasy. It SPF 50, which is fantastic. So yes, this is my daytime moisturizer. I do not use an eye cream. I just use the same moisturizer that I use on my face, on my eyes, which there's no reason to buy a separate eye cream if you've got a moisturizer that you like. My nose ring is crooked. It's bothering me. It's going to bother me the whole video, I can tell. And let's see, what other skincare do I use? Gosh. The only other skincare that I use is prescription. I use a Retin-A, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but it's a topical antibiotic, and that's for my acne. I talked about my acne in one of my last videos. So prescription stuff with Olay and CeraVe stuff is my skincare routine. My skin has never looked better in my whole life, even when I was younger, because when I was younger I had terrible acne. My pores, which have, because of my oily skin, have gotten obvious and bigger as I've aged, are actually starting to look smaller. And the texture of my skin is getting much more smooth. I think that's the Retin-A more than anything. And then the Retin-A makes me dry, and the moisturizers, especially the CeraVe moisturizer, have really helped with the dryness from the Retin-A. So that's my skincare routine, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, you can totally save on skincare, and I recommend it. I recommend finding something affordable but excellent. You can check out Paula's Choice. She's got some great recommendations. But yeah, you definitely don't need to break the bank on skincare as far as I'm concerned. Of course, other people will say you do, but I've had excellent results with non-expensive skincare. All right, next, primer. I don't use primer at all. I don't like it. I feel like it makes my foundation look heavier. But if you do, I would say save, because there's some great primers you can get at the drugstore that are just as good as department store, as the higher end ones. Maybe eye primer, spend more on. NARS has a good one, and Urban Decay has a good one. I especially like Eden, the Urban Decay one in Eden. But if you're a primer lover, you probably have something that you love already. But like I said, I don't use it at all. I just use my skincare as a primer, and that has always served me well. Foundation. Most people will disagree with me, but I think you can save on this. There are some really fabulous foundations at the drugstore, and there's no reason to spend $50, $60 when you can get something just as good, or a close approximation, for 10 or 15 at the drugstore. So if you're on a budget, this is one area I think you really can find something good at the drugstore, even when you're 40. So yeah, save your money there. A good, expensive, high-end foundation, a good one, is worth its weight in gold, but it's nice to have, but you don't need it. You can still get great looking foundation at the drugstore. Concealer, same thing, drugstore. There's the new Maybelline one, the Better Skin one is fantastic. The Maybelline Fit Me is fantastic. I have some, let's see. This isn't a concealer, but it's a under eye highlighter, the Magic Lumi from L'Oreal. Love this, love it. I haven't found anything close, no matter how expensive. This is sort of a concealer because it brightens up the under eye, although it doesn't have a lot of pigment, so it doesn't hide things. If you need to hide things, you're going to want to get something more pigmented. But yeah, there's some really good concealers at the drugstore. Maybelline. I think Maybellines are the best that I like, but every brand has their concealer. I tend to go for the ones with a doe foot applicator in a tube, like, let's see if I have one handy. This is a Lancome one, but this kind, the kind with the doe foot in the tube. The liquid ones tend to work better for me. They don't crease and cake the way cream concealers do. If you've got really heavy dark circles, then you're going to need something even more pigmented. In which case, I am not the person to ask because I don't have particularly bad dark circles. So it's never something I've had to deal with. I have plenty of other issues, but not dark circles. So I don't have a really solid recommendation for you there. But as far as liquid concealers, which I prefer, definitely there's great options at the drugstore. Now, we're going to move into the area of things that I think you should spend more money on. And specifically, it's any powder that you're putting on your face I think you should spend more money on, because the higher end stuff tends to be more finely milled, to appear less, well, not appear, it tends to be more invisible. You can't see it, less cakey, less, it doesn't build up. There's very few like finishing powders I found at the drugstore that I like. But most of the ones that are high-end ones that I've gotten have been good. My favorite, again, something I talk about a lot, is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. This is the pressed one. It also comes in loose. I like the loose a little bit better, but the pressed is certainly more convenient. But they're both very good. These are my favorites. But yes. Finishing powder you should splurge on, in my opinion, if you're in your 40s or beyond. Also, blush and bronzer. I mean, a lot of people are gonna, I think this is something that a lot of people would say drugstore, but I disagree. I think because this is a powder you're putting on your face, you're gonna wanna go for something more high-end, just because they're more finely milled, they don't look as cakey, they last longer, has been my experience. The Lorac Tantalizer is my favorite bronzer. Again, something I talk about all the time. But I just got the Stila one in medium, and I'm really digging that lately. Let's see. Armani's bronzer is sublime. And blush, same thing. You're putting it on your cheeks where a lot of people have pores and fine lines from their crow's feet, and this is an area you don't want to have visible powder buildup, so go for high-end or at least mid-range, because you're gonna it's just gonna look better. That's just been my experience. And then eyeshadow, same thing. Although I think everybody should splurge on eyeshadow, because I have yet to find a really good eyeshadow in the drugstore, and you always have to use so much more to get the pigmentation that you want when you're using drugstore. So you go through it faster, which defeats the purpose of spending less on it. And it doesn't last as long, and the colors all tend to get muddy and, you know, get mixed up together and all look the same on your eyelids. Like I said, never found anything in the drugstore that I think is worth spending your money on, frankly. But there's lots of amazing drugstore, I mean, higher end palettes, like the, oh, I don't have it out, but the naked palettes, the Urban Decay Naked palettes. Invest in one of those. The Naked 1 is bronze, Naked 2 is taupe, and Naked 3 is kind of more pink rose gold. So pick the colorway that speaks to you the best. I like number 2 because I like taupe. I like really neutral neutrals. And invest in one of those. And you're gonna get every penny's worth out of it, because not only do the colors last longer, but they don't all look the same once they're on your eye. They blend so nicely. Definitely spend the money on eyeshadow. And those are really the 3 face products, eyeshadow, blush, bronzer, and, well, 4. And finishing powder, the powders that you put on your face, you really should, in my opinion, spend more money on, because they're going to end up looking better. They're going to not age you, because they won't get as cakey and heavy looking. They won't highlight your pores and fine lines the way thicker, less finely milled, less expensive powders from the drugstore tend to do. So yes, those are my big 4 for splurges. But let's move on. Mascara, totally save. There are amazing drugstore mascaras. You have to toss it after 3 months anyway. There's no reason to spend more than, you know, $10 on a mascara. Eyeliner, save here. There are some nice high-end eyeliners that I really like the Bobbi Brown gel liner, super nice, but you don't need it. You can get approximate results from plenty of drugstore products. My favorite pencil liner is the Sephora. The Sephora Contour Eye Pencil. These are $10, I think. So they're pretty reasonable, not high-end prices. And these are the best I've ever tried of all eyeliners. So, I mean, they're not drugstore, but they're definitely less expensive, and they're comparable to drugstore prices. Brows. Here's somewhere you can save. Today I'm using the Milani Brow Gel in a little pot, and I think it's great. I think it's just as good as Anastasia Beverly Hills. There's some good brow pencils in the drugstore. Elme pencils are great. I think Jordana makes a good brow pencil. I think it's Jordana. It might be Palladio. I'm not sure. You can do just fine for brows in the drugstore. Yes, higher end stuff is nice, but I tend to go through brow products really quickly, and I like my drugstore ones just fine. So yeah, you can save there. And then lipstick, you can save here. If you're like me and you have a zillion lipsticks anyway, and that's where most of your money goes, have fun in the drugstore. Yeah, higher end lipsticks are nice, but there's great lipsticks in the drugstore. The Maybelline ones, the mattes, and I can't even remember what they're called. The Maybelline lipsticks are great. I love these Neutrogena Moisture Smooth Color Sticks. They just came out with a whole new line of spring colors. These are great. Yeah, Burt's Bees chubby pencils. These are so good. And you know, drugstore prices. Mineral Fusion. I think these are kind of halfway in between. I get these at Whole Foods. These are great. I think I've seen them at Walgreens too. So yeah, I'm gonna call that a drugstore brand. So yeah, totally save there. And then my last splurge, which is a splurge, is a set of good brushes. I think a good brush really does make a difference, especially when you're applying powders. You know, It Cosmetics brushes are amazing. If you can afford to invest in some of their brushes, do. They make a line for Ulta, which is nice. I love this one. It's from the mid-range line they make for Ulta, the Live Beautifully. And this one is the C4153 Flawless. No, it's the 202 Flawless Powder. I use this for, see, it's nice and loose and fluffy. I use this for finishing powder. And I have a different one that I use for blush and bronzer that is similar, just because I prefer these because they give a lighter application. So yes, invest in some good brushes. They really are different. You can feel the difference in quality between higher end brushes and the ones that you get at the drugstore. and they make a difference in the application and the final look of your makeup. So this is a splurge. So to recap, you can save on skincare, primer, foundation, concealer, mascara, eyeliner, brows, and lipstick. But definitely invest a little bit more in powder products that you're applying to your face, and brushes. And you know, you're in your 40s, you probably can afford to splurge on something. Those are the things you should splurge on, in my opinion. Any powder you put on your face and the brushes you use to apply it with. All right, I think that's good for today. Thank you so much for watching my video. Like I said, I'm going through my palettes, picking stuff out to keep and to pass on, so I'll probably make a video about that. So something to look forward to. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, a comment, tell me what you think is worth splurging on. Do you disagree with me? Do you agree? Tell me what you think for the over 40 face. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.